so I called my lawyer before the cake. 200 guests. My mother in her best dress, face down in the garden bed. My son wrapped his arm around his brand new bride and leaned in close, whispering something that made her throw her head back and laugh. I stood there for 3 heartbeats. Then I walked to the microphone. Nobody expected that. I tapped it once. The DJ killed the music. Every single face on that patio turned toward me. Her own father set down his champagne glass. I spoke for less than 30 seconds. Before the cake was ever cut, I had already called my lawyer. And that wedding was never the same after that. I'm standing near the stone fountain at the Hargrove Country Club, watching my 68-year-old mother get shoved backward into a freshly watered flower bed by my son's brand new wife. And the only thing I can think is how impossibly quiet everything has become. 200 people just witnessed it happen, and not a single soul is making a sound. The DJ's speakers are still pumping some soft, jazz instrumental like the world hasn't just tilted sideways. Someone coughs near the dessert table. My sister, Diane, is already rushing toward our mother, but she's a good 25 feet away, weaving between round tables draped in ivory linen, and it's going to take her several seconds to close the distance. My mother, Gloria, is on her back in the garden bed. The bed the groundskeepers soaked that morning so the hydrangeas would photograph like something out of a magazine. Her silver dress, the one she spent 3 months searching for, the one she'd held up in the department store mirror and said, "Alina, do you think this makes me look like I'm trying too hard?" To the saleswoman who told her she looked stunning, that dress is now covered in dark, wet earth from collar to hem. She isn't moving yet. Just lying there, blinking up at the sky like she's trying to understand what just happened to her. And I'm watching from across the patio, where I've been having a perfectly civilized conversation with Dennis Harlow about his new dental practice. My brain is doing that thing where it processes information in the wrong order. First, I notice that my mother's clip-on earring has come off and is sitting in the mulch like a small silver insect. Then I notice that Brittany, my daughter-in-law for exactly 2 hours and 14 minutes now, is already turning away from what she just did, smoothing down the front of her wedding gown like she's brushing away a minor inconvenience. Then I notice my son, Marcus, 33 years old, just married, walking up behind Brittany and sliding his arm around her waist. He leans down, whispers something in her ear. She laughs, not a nervous laugh, not an embarrassed, "Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened" laugh. A real laugh, the kind you make when someone tells you something genuinely funny at a dinner party. That's when the cold thing settles into my chest. Not anger yet, something deeper. Something that feels like watching a ship you built with your own hands start taking on water and knowing you can't patch it fast enough. Dennis Harlow, standing next to me, says, "What the hell just happened?" I don't answer him because I'm already moving, not toward my mother. Diane's got that covered. I'm moving toward the DJ booth near the back of the patio where the equipment is set up on a folding table under a white canopy. The DJ sees me coming. He's a young guy, maybe 28, with headphones around his neck and a laptop glowing in front of him. He's holding a wireless microphone in one hand and scrolling through a playlist with the other. "Can I borrow that?" I point at the microphone. He looks confused for half a second, then hands it to me without asking why. Maybe it's the look on my face. Maybe he saw what happened. Either way, the microphone is in my hand now, and I'm walking to the center of the patio. The flagstones are still warm from the afternoon sun. The light is going golden, that perfect late afternoon glow that makes everything look like a painting. I can see the florist's arrangements on every table. White peonies and eucalyptus. $62 per centerpiece. I know because I paid the invoice 6 weeks ago. I can see the chocolate fountain near the bar starting to congeal in the evening air. I can see 200 faces turning toward me as I tap the microphone once, and the sound cracks across the patio like a gunshot, and the jazz music finally dies. Marcus and Brittany are near the bar. Brittany has a fresh drink in her hand already, something pink with a sugared rim, and the expression on her face is the expression of someone who has already decided that what just happened was nothing, a minor blip, and everyone else needs to grow up and move on. Marcus looks different. Nervous now. Like he's just realized something is about to happen, and he doesn't know what it is and he can't stop it. Dennis Harlow sets down his champagne glass. His wife, Margaret, who is mid-sentence about their upcoming trip to Portugal, goes completely still, her face shifting from polite curiosity to something harder, something watchful. I look at Marcus first, then at Brittany, then at everyone else. "Thank you all for being here today," I say. My voice sounds steady, even though my hands aren't. "Unfortunately, my mother and I will be leaving now. We won't be staying for dinner." I can see Brittany's expression shift. She wasn't expecting this. And I want everyone here to know something. I pause, let it sit for a second, let the silence do the work. I will not be associated with cruelty. Not today, not ever. I hand the microphone back to the DJ. He takes it like it might electrocute him. The patio is completely silent now. Even the fountain behind me seems to have gone quiet, though I know that's just my brain playing tricks. I walk across the flagstones to where Diane is kneeling next to our mother. She's gotten most of the mud off Gloria's arms, but the dress is destroyed and we all know it. Gloria is crying, not sobbing, just tears running down her face while she stares at nothing, her hands trembling in her lap. I take my mother's hand. "We're leaving, Mom." She nods, doesn't say anything, just nods. Diane looks up at me. "I'll help her to the car. I've got her." As we walk toward the parking lot, slowly, because my mother's shoes are still somewhere in the garden bed, and she's barefoot on the asphalt, I hear Marcus call out behind us. "Mom, Elena, wait." I don't wait. I don't turn around. I just keep walking, one hand on my mother's elbow, guiding her forward. In the parking lot, Gloria finally speaks. She pushed me. Her voice is very small, like a child's. "Elena," she put both hands on my chest and pushed me backward in front of everyone. "I know, Mom." Why would she do that? I help my mother into the passenger seat of my car. Her dress leaves a streak of dark mud on the leather, but I don't care. I close the door, walk around to the driver's side, get in, start the engine. The air conditioning comes on and it's too cold, but neither of us moves to adjust it. "Why would she do that?" Gloria asks again. I know why. I've known for over a year, maybe longer. I just didn't want to see it clearly. I warned Marcus. I sat him down in my kitchen 8 months ago and told him directly, "This woman is not kind to your mother, and it's going to get worse." He told me I was overreacting. He told me Brittany was just intense, that she came from a competitive family, that once they were married and settled, things would calm down. Brittany has been escalating for 20 months, since the engagement. Small things at first, rolling her eyes when Gloria told stories at family dinners, correcting Gloria's grammar in front of other people, making comments about Gloria's house being cluttered, her cooking being bland, her opinions being outdated. Last Christmas, Brittany told Gloria that her homemade ornaments were a little much and took them off the tree when Gloria went to the bathroom. When Gloria came back and noticed, Brittany said the cat must have knocked them down. There was no cat. At the engagement party in January, Brittany assigned Gloria a seat near the kitchen entrance, away from the head table. When Gloria asked about it later, Brittany said the seating chart was handled by the venue coordinator. Marcus backed her up without blinking. 3 months ago, right after the bridal shower, Brittany told Marcus in front of Gloria that once they were married, the dynamic with your mother is going to change significantly. Gloria told me about it that night. I said it was probably just wedding stress. Brittany planning a massive event, wanting control, normal bride behavior. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I drive us to the Hampton Inn where we're both staying for the weekend. Help my mother out of the car. A family loading luggage into their minivan stares at Gloria's ruined dress, at the mud on her arms and in her hair, but they don't say anything. I walk Gloria through the lobby. The front desk clerk's eyes go wide, but she keeps her composure. Into the elevator. Down the hall, into her room. Gloria goes straight to the bathroom. I hear the shower start. I sit on the edge of her bed and pull out my phone. My hands are shaking. Not dramatically, just enough that I have to set the phone down on the nightstand and breathe for a full minute before I pick it up again. I open my banking app and navigate to the account I set up 6 years ago. The one Marcus doesn't know about. The one I've been using to quietly funnel money into his life without making a production out of it. Over 6 years, the total is more than $240,000. Student loan payments I made anonymously through the servicer. Car insurance premiums I covered without telling him. The security deposit on the apartment he and Brittany were supposed to move into next Wednesday. $18,000 sitting in a holding account, scheduled to release Monday morning. And the wedding costs $51,000. Photographer, videographer, florist, DJ, rehearsal dinner, transportation, the open bar upgrade, the dessert station, the custom monogrammed napkins, everything except the ceremony venue and the catering. Brittany's parents, Dennis and Margaret Harlow, paid for those. I paid for everything else. Quietly. Because Marcus asked me to and said Brittany couldn't know because she was particular about appearances and didn't want people thinking they needed help. When I insisted on signing the vendor contracts directly instead of putting Marcus's name on them, easier for tax purposes, I told him, he agreed without a second thought. He didn't realize then what those signatures would mean. That I'd be the client of record. That I'd have the sole authority to cancel, revoke, or modify every single agreement. I also opened the other account, the trust fund. The one I set up 18 months ago when Marcus mentioned that he and Brittany were planning to start trying for a baby after the honeymoon. $65,000. Ready and growing for grandchildren who don't exist yet. Brittany pushed my 68-year-old mother into the mud at her own wedding reception and laughed about it. My son watched and did nothing. Before I make any calls, I do one other thing. I find Kayla Rivera's Instagram, Brittany's maid of honor. I saw her filming the whole thing on her phone, standing near the gift table, holding her phone sideways, grinning like she was capturing a blooper reel for a comedy special. I scroll through her stories. She's already posted a clip to a private account. I can see the view count, 11 people so far. I screenshot everything I can find. Save the video file to my own cloud storage. Timestamp it. Then I make 4 phone calls. First call. My financial advisor, Sandra. She answers on the first ring because Sandra always answers on the first ring. Sandra, I need you to halt a transfer scheduled for Monday morning. $18,000 from my secondary account to the Riverside Terrace apartment complex. It's the security deposit for Marcus Dalton and Brittany Harlow's new apartment. Cancel it. Silence on the other end. Then, Alina, are you sure? They're supposed to move in Wednesday. I'm completely sure. Can I ask what happened? No. Okay, I hear her typing. Done. Transfer is canceled. The apartment complex will be notified Monday that the funds didn't arrive. They'll likely release the unit. Thank you. I hang up. Second call, the wedding photographer. A woman named Priya Sato. I paid her invoice, $8,500 2 months ago. My name is on the contract as the client. She answers on the third ring. Hello, Priya. This is Alina Dalton. I'm calling about the wedding you photographed today for Marcus Dalton and Brittany Harlow. Oh, hi, Ms. Dalton. Yes, gorgeous event. I got some incredible shots during golden hour. Priya, I need you to stop all work on those photos immediately. I'm revoking my authorization for you to deliver any images to the bride and groom. Silence, then. I'm sorry, what? Check your contract. My name is on the client line. I paid your invoice in full. I'm instructing you not to deliver any photographs to Marcus or Brittany. You can refund me or keep the money. I genuinely don't care, but they don't get the images. Ms. Dalton, Brittany has already texted me 4 times asking when she can see the gallery. She wants sneak peeks tonight. Read your contract, Priya. I'm the client of record. What I'm telling you is legal and binding. If you have a problem with it, consult your attorney. I hang up before she can respond. Third call, the videographer. A young man named Jordan who sounds confused at first and then alarmed. Same conversation. Check the contract. My name is on it. Don't deliver the footage. Keep the money or refund it. His choice. Fourth call, the DJ, same thing. The florist. The transportation company that provided the vintage Rolls-Royce. The bakery that made the 5-tier custom cake with the hand-painted sugar flowers. Every vendor I contracted with directly. Every service I paid for. Every upgrade I funded. I cancel, revoke, or halt everything I legally can. It takes an hour and 12 minutes. When Gloria comes out of the bathroom, she's wearing the hotel robe and her hair is wrapped in a towel. Her eyes are swollen and red. She sits on the edge of the bed next to me. "What are you doing?" she asks. Her voice sounds hollow, like an echo of itself. "Taking back what's mine." She looks at the phone in my hands. "Eleanor, she pushed you into the mud, Mom, at her own wedding, in front of 200 people. And then she laughed about it. I'm not funding that. I'm not rewarding it." Gloria is quiet for a long time. Then she says, "What did you cancel?" I tell her all of it. The apartment deposit, the photographer, the videographer, the flowers, the cake delivery, the preserved top tier they were supposed to freeze for their first anniversary. Everything. When I finish, she's crying again. "They're going to lose the apartment." "I know. Marcus is going to hate you." "Probably." "Eleanor, this is going to destroy your relationship with your brother." "Maybe, but I can't look at myself in the mirror if I keep writing checks for someone who thinks what Brittany did today was acceptable." Gloria puts her hand on mine. We sit like that for a while. Outside, the parking lot lights have come on. I can hear the ice machine humming down the hall. A couple arguing softly in the room next door, their words muffled but their tone unmistakable. "I've been thinking about something," Gloria says finally, "about why she did it." "Tell me." "I was coming back from the ladies' room. I saw Brittany near the garden steps. She was talking to someone. I think it was her mother, Margaret. When Brittany saw me, she said something to Margaret quickly, and Margaret walked away without looking at me. Then Brittany turned to me and said, 'We need to talk about your behavior today.'" "Your behavior," that's what she said. I asked her what she meant. She said I'd been making myself the center of attention all day, being too visible, making it about me instead of about her. I told her I didn't know what she was talking about. I said I was just here to celebrate Marcus. Gloria's voice is very steady now, the kind of steady that comes from shock wearing off and something harder taking its place. She said, "This is my day, Gloria, not yours. You need to disappear." And that's when she put both hands on my chest and pushed. I sit with that. What happened earlier in the day? Anything? Nothing unusual. I helped the flower girl pin her sash. I told the caterer the appetizers looked wonderful. I talked to guests. Normal mother-of-the-groom things. She pauses. Actually, there was one thing. During cocktail hour, one of Marcus's college friends asked me where Marcus was, and I said he and Brittany were taking portraits by the fountain. That's all. I told someone where my son was. And Brittany heard that. I don't know, maybe. So that's what it was. Brittany decided that Gloria answering a simple question about Marcus's location was Gloria making the wedding about herself. And Brittany decided the correct response was physical violence against a 68-year-old woman. We order room service that night. Neither of us eats much. I force Gloria to drink some water and take her blood pressure medication. We watch a home renovation show without watching it. At some point, Gloria falls asleep on top of the covers, still in the hotel robe. I pull the comforter over her and go back to my own room across the hall. I stay awake for hours, thinking about Marcus's face when he whispered something to Brittany that made her laugh. Thinking about the 20 months of small escalations I warned him about that he dismissed. Thinking about the fact that I just canceled my brother's apartment deposit and he doesn't know it yet. Thinking about the look on my mother's face when she was lying in the mud, blinking up at the sky. At 1:30 in the morning, my phone buzzes. A text from Diane. "Eleanor, what happened after you left? The reception collapsed. Half the guests left before dinner was served. Marcus is a mess. Brittany's screaming at everyone. Call me when you can." I don't call. I turn off the phone and close my eyes and try to sleep. Before I tell you what happened Monday morning when Marcus finally realized what I'd done, I need to ask you something. If someone pushed your mother into the mud at your own brother's wedding, in front of 200 people, and your brother just stood there and laughed, what would you do? Would you keep funding their life like nothing happened? Or would you draw a line? Because what came next changed everything between us forever. Sunday morning, Diane calls at 7:45. I'm awake. I've been awake since 4. Alina, what happened yesterday? After you left, everything imploded. What do you mean? Brittany was furious about the microphone thing. She kept saying you ruined her day. Marcus spent the entire reception trying to calm her down. Her parents were mortified. At least 40 guests left before the main course. The DJ played to half-empty tables. Good. Alina. Diane, she pushed our mother into the mud, then laughed about it. I'm not going to pretend that's acceptable. I know, I saw it, it was horrifying. A pause. But Alina, I have to tell you something. Marcus has been texting me nonstop since last night. He won't say what's wrong exactly, but he sounds panicked about something beyond the reception falling apart. He'll figure it out tomorrow. What does that mean? He'll know Monday morning. Diane is quiet for a moment. Alina, what did you do? I stopped funding cruelty. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. She sighs. He's going to call you, be ready. I am. Monday morning, Marcus calls at 8:12. I don't answer. He calls again at 8:14. I decline. Third time, 8:17, I answer. Alina, what did you do? Good morning, Marcus. The apartment complex just called. They said the security deposit never arrived. They said the transfer was canceled. By you, we're supposed to move in Wednesday. Our lease at the old place ends Friday. That's correct. What, why? Because I'm not funding a home for someone who pushed our mother into the mud. Silence, then, Alina, that was. Brittany didn't mean. It was an accident. Marcus, I watched it happen. She put both hands on a 68-year-old woman's chest and shoved her backward into a flower bed. That's not an accident. That's assault. She was emotional. The wedding was stressful. She felt like Mom was overstepping. Overstepping how? He hesitates. Mom was. Brittany felt like Mom was inserting herself too much, being too visible. So she pushed her into the mud. It wasn't like that. Marcus, I was standing right there. I watched you put your arm around Brittany while our mother was lying in the dirt. I watched you whisper something that made her laugh. I wasn't laughing at Mom. I was trying to de-escalate. Brittany was worked up. I was trying to move her away from the situation. By making it seem like what she did was acceptable. Alina, I'm begging you. Please release the deposit. We'll lose the apartment. We have nowhere to go. Our lease is up in 4 days. No. Alina. Marcus, do you have any idea how much money I've quietly put into your life over the past 6 years? He's quiet. The student loans I paid off without telling you. The car insurance. The credit card balances when you were between jobs. The apartment deposit. The wedding costs, $51,000 worth of vendors I contracted directly because you asked me to and said Brittany couldn't know because she'd be embarrassed. More than $240,000. Because you're my brother and I love you and I wanted to help. And you thanked me by watching your wife assault our mother and doing nothing. I didn't know what to do. You defend her, that's what you do. You step between them. You tell Brittany that was unacceptable. You help Mom up. You do literally anything other than make it seem like a joke. I'm sorry. So am I. I hang up. 10 minutes later, the photographer calls. Ms. Dalton, I'm getting calls from the bride demanding her gallery. I told her what you said. She's threatening to sue me and leave 1-star reviews on every platform. Let her, you'll win. Check the contract. My name is on the client line. That afternoon, my phone buzzes with a text from Brittany. Not the furious phone call I was expecting. A text, carefully worded. Alina, I think there's been a serious misunderstanding about what happened at the reception. I'd like to talk when you're ready. What happened with Gloria was not my intention, and I'm sorry if she felt hurt. I read it twice. The architecture of it is almost impressive in its precision. Not my intention. Sorry if she felt hurt. An apology with no acknowledgement of what actually happened. Designed to give her just enough cover to say she tried if anyone asks. I don't respond. An hour later, she calls. No trace of the careful text, just fury. Alina, what the hell are you doing? You're sabotaging my marriage. You're ruining my life. I'm withdrawing financial support. I already apologized. I sent you a message. You said you were sorry if Gloria felt hurt. That's not an apology, Brittany. That's a press release. This is insane. We have a contract with the photographer. We have agreements with vendors. You have agreements with vendors I signed for and paid for. I'm the client, not you. You'll destroy Marcus over this. No. You made that choice when you decided humiliating his mother in front of 200 people was acceptable behavior. She hangs up. That night, Gloria asks me, "Did you really cancel the apartment deposit?" Yes. Alina, that's their home. They have nowhere to go. I know. They'll have to move in with her parents. I know that too. She's quiet for a long time. I don't want you to do this for me if it's going to destroy your relationship with Marcus. Mom, she pushed you into the dirt and laughed. Marcus watched and did nothing. I'm not funding that. I'm not rewarding it. I'm not pretending it didn't happen. What about grandchildren someday? If they have kids, we'll never see them. That one hits me hard because she's right. If Marcus and Brittany have children, this decision means we probably won't be part of their lives. I know, I say, but I can't look at myself in the mirror if I keep writing checks to someone who thinks it's okay to treat you like that. Wednesday, Dennis Harlow calls, Brittany's father. Alina, we need to talk about what happened at the wedding. I'm listening. Brittany told me her side. She says Gloria was being overbearing all day, inserting herself into everything. Brittany got frustrated. There was a minor incident, and now it's been blown completely out of proportion. Dennis, your daughter physically pushed my 68-year-old mother into a mud puddle. 200 people saw it, including you. I saw something happen. I didn't see the full context. The context doesn't matter. You don't put your hands on someone and shove them to the ground, especially not a woman nearly 70 years old. Alina, girls get emotional. Weddings are high pressure. Brittany has apologized to Marcus. Can't we just move past this? Has she apologized to my mother? Pause. I'll make sure she does. That's not what I asked. Alina, Marcus and Brittany can't move into their apartment because you pulled the deposit. That's my daughter's future you're holding hostage. Your daughter pushed my mother into the mud on her wedding day. Maybe she should have thought about her future before she did that. You're being vindictive. I'm being protective. There's a difference. He hangs up. That same afternoon, Marcus shows up at my apartment unannounced. I open the door and he's standing in the hallway wearing the same wrinkled shirt he was wearing yesterday, dark circles under his eyes, looking like he hasn't slept in 3 days. Maybe he hasn't. I'm not here about the money, he says. I just need you to understand something. I let him in. Gloria is in the guest room where she's been staying since the wedding. I can tell from the silence that she's listening through the wall. Brittany isn't a bad person, Marcus says. We're sitting in my living room, the small one with the bookshelves and the window that overlooks the park. She gets scared when she feels like she's losing control of something important to her. She does stupid things. The wedding was the most important day of her life, and she felt like Mom was. Marcus. He stops. Our mother was walking back from the restroom. She wasn't doing anything. I know, he presses his hands together. I know that, but Brittany had worked herself into a state all day. She'd convinced herself that Mom was trying to overshadow her. I knew it was irrational. I should have handled it before the reception. I didn't, and then it happened and I froze. He looks at me. I froze, Alina. That's the truth. I knew it was wrong and I didn't move. You whispered something to her. She laughed. I said, let's get you a drink. I was trying to get her away from the crowd before she said something worse. I wasn't making a joke. He pauses. I know how it looked. It looked like you were choosing her over Mom. I know. We sit with that for a moment. I'm not asking you to give us the money, he says again. I just wanted you to know that I'm aware I failed, and that I'm sorry. You need to tell Mom that. He goes to the guest room. I don't follow. I can hear their voices through the wall. Low, careful. Gloria cries at some point. Marcus does too, I think. When he leaves an hour later, nothing is resolved. But something has shifted, like a bone that's been set but hasn't started healing yet. 3 days after that conversation, Brittany calls Gloria directly. Gloria tells me about it that evening. Her voice is completely flat, like she's reading a weather report. She asked me to apologize to her for undermining her at the wedding. She said that if I did, she'd consider forgiving me and allowing me back into Marcus's life. I go to my phone, open the banking app, navigate to the trust fund. $65,000 set up 18 months ago for grandchildren who don't exist yet. I close it out. Transfer every cent back to my main account. I don't tell Marcus. He'll find out when he needs to know. Friday morning, Marcus calls. Eleanor, we lost the apartment. The complex released the unit to someone else. We lost the application fee and the holding deposit. $2,000 gone. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Because you caused it. No, Marcus. Brittany caused it when she assaulted our mother. I just stopped funding the aftermath. We're going to have to move in with Brittany's parents. Do you understand that? We're going to be living in Dennis and Margaret's guest room because you decided to punish us. I'm not punishing you. I'm drawing a line. This is cruel, Eleanor. What's cruel is pushing a 68-year-old woman into the dirt for sport. What's cruel is your wife calling our mother dramatic for being upset about it. What's cruel is you standing there watching and doing nothing. I've apologized. To me, not to Mom, not really. Silence. Marcus, you chose wrong at that wedding. Now you're living with the consequences. If you want those consequences to change, you know what has to happen. Brittany says she won't apologize to Mom. She says Mom owes her the apology. Then you're going to have a very expensive marriage. I hang up. Over the next month, the isolation is total. Marcus stops calling. Brittany blocks me and Gloria on every platform. Diane reports that Marcus and Brittany are fighting constantly. The financial pressure, the blame, the humiliation of living in her parents' guest room at 33 years old. In July, Brittany's maid of honor, Kayla, posts the video she filmed of the push on TikTok with the caption, "When the MIL tries to steal the spotlight and gets what she deserves, skull." It goes viral. 500,000 views in 3 days. The comments are split. Half are horrified, calling it elder abuse. The other half think it's comedy gold. Gloria sees it. She closes her tablet and goes to the guest room without a word. Doesn't come out for the rest of the day. I already have the original video saved. I call Marcus that evening. I need you to watch something. I send him the file, the version I saved the night of the wedding, before Kayla's post, before the TikTok comments, before any of this became public entertainment. He calls back 20 minutes later. He doesn't say anything at first. That's the full thing, I say, including what happens after. Watch her face when she walks away from Mom. Watch the expression. I've seen it. No, you saw what was in front of you that night. You didn't see what everyone else saw. You didn't see what the camera caught. I let that sit. That video is going to follow your family for a very long time. I want you to understand exactly what you're defending. He hangs up without answering, but he doesn't call back to argue. In August, Diane tells me Marcus and Brittany are in marriage counseling. Brittany blames Marcus for not protecting the apartment deposit. Marcus blames Brittany for alienating you and Mom. The counselor apparently told Brittany she needs to take accountability for the physical act, and Brittany walked out of the session. It's bad, Alina. Are they separating? I don't know, maybe. September, Gloria says. I want to try talking to Marcus, just to see if we can find a way forward. Are you sure? No, but I miss my son. She calls him. They talk for nearly 2 hours. When she hangs up, she's been crying, but her voice is steady. He says he's sorry. He says Brittany is who she is and he can't change her. He says he wants us in his life, but Brittany won't allow it unless I apologize for creating drama at her wedding. You didn't create anything. I know that, and I'm not going to apologize for being pushed into the mud. She looks at me. But Alina, I think we need to find a way to keep the door open for Marcus without making it conditional on Brittany's behavior. He's trapped, and if we force him to choose between us and his marriage, we might lose him entirely. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we tell him he's welcome here, that our relationship with him isn't contingent on what happens with Brittany, and that if the marriage ends, he doesn't have to rebuild from zero with us. The door is open. I think about that for a long time. That's different from forgiving Brittany. Yes, Gloria says, it is. She's right, and I know it. October, Marcus and Brittany separate. Diane tells me Brittany moved back to her parents' house permanently. Marcus is devastated, relieved, confused, all of it at once. He's staying in a friend's spare room. He's asking if he can come see you and Mom, Diane says. He wants to know if the door is really open. Tell him it's open. It's always been open. He comes the next weekend, thinner than I've ever seen him, tired in a way that goes beyond sleep, carrying the specific exhaustion of someone who has been arguing with themselves for months and finally stopped. Alina, I'm sorry for all of it, for not defending Mom, for choosing wrong, for disappearing, for everything. We're sitting in my living room. Gloria is in the kitchen making tea, the way she always does when she doesn't know what else to do with her hands. What happened? I ask. The money thing broke us. Brittany couldn't handle living with her parents, couldn't handle being seen as the couple who couldn't afford their own place. She blamed me for not managing you differently. Said I should have found a way to pressure you into releasing the funds. When I said I couldn't make you do anything, she said I was weak. Said I'd always been weak. Said she'd married a weak man. He pauses. Maybe she was right about part of it. I should have stopped her at the wedding. I told you that already. You did. I needed to say it again. Gloria comes in with tea. She sets a cup in front of Marcus and sits down across from him. Marcus, she says quietly, I forgave you a while ago, but I need you to understand something. Your wife pushed me into the mud and laughed. You watched. And then for months, neither of you apologized. Not really. I spent that time thinking my own son cared more about his wife's ego than his mother's dignity. I knew it was wrong, he says. I always knew. I know, Gloria says. That's why we're here. We talk for 3 hours. It doesn't fix everything, but it's a start. In November, Marcus files for divorce. Brittany contests it, wants alimony, wants the wedding costs reimbursed from Marcus since I revoked everything, wants half of his modest retirement account even though they were married for less than a year. In December, Gloria is diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer. Treatable, the oncologist says, good prognosis, caught early on a routine mammogram. When she tells me, she sits down in my kitchen chair and takes my hand. Okay, we deal with it. I call Marcus that same evening. He drives over without being asked, sits with us until midnight. We don't talk about Brittany or money or the wedding. We talk about treatment options, about scheduling, about whether Gloria should stay with me or Diane during chemotherapy weeks. We talk about other things too. Small things, things that have nothing to do with any of this. The park across from my window, a book he's reading, a restaurant he wants to try. I sit Marcus down the next day and tell him I'm updating my will. You're still in it, I say, but there are conditions. Any inheritance is yours alone. It goes into a trust that protects it from future spouses. If you remarry, whoever she is never has a claim on what I leave you. I understand. And Marcus, I don't regret pulling that deposit. I don't regret canceling the vendors, because our mother didn't deserve what Brittany did, and I won't apologize for protecting her. I know, Alina. There's still a distance between us, but we're both standing on the same side of it now, looking in the same direction. In January, Brittany's divorce attorney contacts Marcus's. She's dropped the alimony demand and the reimbursement claim. She just wants it over. The divorce finalizes in March. Marcus moves into a small studio apartment near downtown, starts over at 34. Gloria and I see him twice a week, Wednesday dinners and Sunday mornings. We're rebuilding something that broke at a wedding reception when 200 people watched cruelty happen, and one person decided not to fund it anymore. In April, Diane announces she's pregnant. First grandchild for Gloria. Gloria cries with joy for 10 minutes straight. Will you help with childcare? Diane asks. Every single day if you need me, Gloria says. That night, lying in her guest room bed, Gloria asks me, do you think we did the right thing? I protected you. That's all I know how to measure. But we lost a year with Marcus. We lost a year because he made a choice. I just refused to fund the consequences. She's quiet for a while. Diane's baby is due in October. Gloria has already started knitting blankets, 3 of them, different colors, because she can't decide which one is best. Marcus asked if he could be at the hospital. I want to be a good uncle, he said. You will be, I told him. We're rebuilding, slowly, with honesty now where there wasn't enough before. And every time I help Diane with the nursery costs, the crib, the stroller, the pediatrician copays, I don't wonder if I'm being too generous, because generosity was never the problem. The problem was funding someone who thought hurting my mother was funny. The wedding photos were never delivered, so there's no official record of that day. Just 200 witnesses and a marriage that lasted less than a year, and a choice I made to stop funding cruelty, even when it cost me my brother for a while. Sometimes Marcus mentions Brittany. She's dating again, someone from her gym. Good for her, I say, and mean it. We don't talk about the wedding anymore. The patio, the mud, the microphone. But sometimes I'll catch Gloria looking at her hands, turning them over like she's checking for something, and I know she's back there. Back on the ground, back in the dirt, blinking up at the sky. And I will never regret stopping that, even on the days when it still hurts. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. If this story meant something to you, subscribe to the channel. There are more stories like this one. And click on the video showing up on your screen right now. Trust me, you'll want to hear what happens next. You have reached the end of the text.